Hello one all, it's my review of My Hero Academia, chapter 263. I want to be with you guys! And just read that, this is an absolutely amazing Kaminari chapter, which I really like. You know, like, he doesn't really get a lot of spotlights. I mean, last time was, I guess, during the licensing exam. Wow, that was a while back. I mean, one of the things I really loved about the recent movie was that all the Class 1A members had a chance to really shine, show off what they could do. And here we're seeing him shining again, so good on him. Also kind of confirms his ship with Jiro, just saying. I mean, in the beginning of the chapter, Jiro is really worried about Kaminari, and Momo has to, give her a little emotional support, like, he's going to be okay, it's going to be alright. While at the same time, he's in the middle screaming that he's panicking that he's not going to be okay. And I do just love how Tokiyami is just really misreading the situation, like, wow, when you were practicing guitar, you were trying so hard for Jiro. I mean, you're just willing to go so far for one of your friends, and like, maybe a little bit more than one of his friends? I really think that's emphasized when Midnight tells him, think back to the people behind you, the people you really care about, who you're fighting for. And he looks back, he's like, and when he looks back, he's just seeing Jiro. And I'm like, okay, yeah, so that ship's completely confirmed, 100%. Good for him. Please don't die in this fight. I mean, it certainly seems like he can be a primary target of the villain's attack, given that this one lightning user comes at him with a full freaking blast, and he just completely absorbs it. I mean, that was badass right there. That was completely badass, and I really love that. So yeah, he basically just completely neutralized one of the commanders of the army all by himself. So good on him for that, and just striking such a freaking amazing pose while he did it. Now please, for love, all that is good in this world, do not let him become an idiot. Do not let him spend the next chapter just wandering around because he fried his freaking brain. I know that's usually how his powers work, but can we please avoid that? He's looking cool. He's having a really awesome moment right now. Just let him be. Please, please. But on to the rest of the characters. Mineta, he was his usual awful self, just kind of sitting around like, well, I mean, if we try and put any effort in, that's like we're saying the heroes can't handle fighting all these villains by themselves. Which, no, that's not what it means, and I'm fairly certain you guys are going to have a lot of villains to contend with by yourself, just saying. I mean, the whole para-liberation army thing, they are fairly substantial. There's a whole lot of them. I'm going to assume at least a few of those guys are going to slip by, and you're going to have to take care of them. Hopefully Mineta does something heroic or brave or dies or whatever. And I gotta say, I have very much been underestimating what good old Cementos could do. I mean, I knew he can control concrete and stuff like that. I was not aware he could rip buildings in half. I have a lot of questions about this man's limitations and what he's capable of, and how literally anyone in the world could beat him if he's ever fighting in, like, a city, you know? I mean, he can literally just take the 5 nearest buildings and collapse them on top of the villain. Good lord, thank God this man is not a villain. That would be absolutely terrifying. I mean, he could be like the world's greatest terrorist, literally wiping out an entire city in a matter of minutes. So, yeah, yay on him for being a hero. His awesome full panel shot of both the heroes and the villains ready to fight each other, ready to go back and forth. A lot of questions about the little lady grandma type. I don't know what it is her quirk does, what her powers are, what she wants out of this, but honestly, I think she's the most terrifying member of this whole gang. And that dude's got holes in his neck, but she's more terrifying. I'm a little concerned about this one line. Don't let anyone escape. They're well trained and ready to give their lives to the cause. How exactly are you planning on detaining several thousand villains right here and now? I kind of feel like knocking them out isn't going to be a reliable option, so it seems like this is going to end in a bloodbath. I can't imagine, the system can handle several thousand criminals all being arrested at once. I can't imagine you can detain all of them all that easily. I feel like this is going to just become, alright, let's start killing people, which is definitely going to kind of soil the whole we're the heroes thing if they start straight up killing people because they don't have the proper equipment, manpower, whatever to detain them. I mean, I'm feeling the series is going to have to be kind of vague on that. Like, alright, we took out these villains, let's move on, without really saying, okay, but how many of them did you kill? Or how are you planning on making sure they don't recover and attack you from behind? And then in the final panel, we see Twice completely surrounded by Hawks, and I'm not going to lie, I feel bad for him. I mean, seriously, he thought Hawks was like his buddy, his best friend, the guy who was helping him out this whole time. I mean, Twice isn't really a bad guy. He just wants to protect his friends, who he thinks of basically as his family. And his family just happens to be a bunch of villains, a bunch of evil, horrible people. I mean, seriously, with his quirk, he could have conquered all of Japan by himself already. Could have eliminated entire cities without breaking a sweat. And now that one of his friends has turned against him and is attempting to murder him, I'm a little worried about what exactly is going to happen. I feel like Twice is going to have a bit of a mental breakdown and just go like full villain, full chaotic evil route and just start destroying everything around him. I feel like his whole built-up battle against the heroes could be over in like 5 seconds if he escapes somehow and manages to just create millions and millions of copies of himself. It makes sense, Hawks would go after him first and foremost, neutralize him, maybe kill him, so that the rest of the heroes don't have to deal with him, because Hawks himself said, "You're the biggest threat in this whole place." Now the question remains, how is Twice going to get out of this? Because I don't think he's going to stay restrained. Maybe Toga or one of the other villains is going to come find them, take out Hawks, and free Twice so that he can take out all the heroes, or maybe as a precaution made a copy of himself several months ago and the real him has been deep underground this whole time and no one's actually seen him, or something like that. I don't know, I just feel like he has to escape somehow, and I'm really not looking forward to this confrontation between the two of them where Hawks reveals that he's secretly been a spy this whole time, because it's really going to break the dude's heart, and again, I don't think of him as a bad guy. I'm going to assume Twice won't free himself immediately next chapter. Like, there's going to be some back and forth between the heroes and the villains all throughout the mansion first before Twice frees himself and basically wins the war for his side. But I'll leave everything all down below. How's Twice going to escape? Is someone going to give him backup? Is he the real Twice? Is Hawks going to straight murder him? Because I feel like that's something he might have to do here and now to save the world, more or less. Leave it all down below, but you'd like to subscribe to this video. Until then,
Peace.